guys, it's Morgan, and welcome to the Meat Machine podcast. Today we've got...
Meat Machines with an S.
Oh, Meat Machines.
Wait, is that what we decided on?
Yeah, well, I think so.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast, the Meat Machines. I'm Morgan Watkins. Joining us...
My name's Sam.
And I'm Aiden. We're going to talk about free will today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the question is, what convinced us of the non-existence of free will?
Well, I'll go first, I guess. There was a few things. So there's just... The first thing was a video by a YouTuber, Cosmic Skeptic.
Yeah.
That was the first one.
Did I send that to you?
No, you didn't.
No, really?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I saw the Rationality Rules one,
Okay.
which was good, but then I saw the Cosmic Skeptics
Yeah.
one, which was a more philosophical take of...
Yeah, the Rationality Rules one was more scientific, from a scientific
Yes,
perspective.
looking at a bit of the neuroscience.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I actually
Quantum
have now
mechanics
come
and
to
that
like.
famous experiment. I forgot what his name was. Starts with an L. Anyway.
Yeah. So that one, basically, he said that you don't know why you want something. If you really think about why you want something, you cannot pinpoint the reason why you want something. Like whether it be, and I think this is an example he used in the video, whether you want chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream, you cannot know why you chose chocolate. You just did.
Yeah.
And I think from that video, I saw another video with Rationality Rules and Cosmic Skeptics together. And
Yeah. So it was like a 45-minute
that's the
video.
one.
Yeah.
That was
Great
brilliant.
discussion.
I love that one.
Yeah.
And they talked about Sam Harris's views on free will. And now, obviously, I've fallen into the Sam Harris.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember them talking about how they've both read Free Will by Sam Harris.
Yes.
And at the time I hadn't read it, but now I have, and
Yeah,
so have you.
I
Yeah.
actually got it here as well.
Yeah. And Cosmic Skeptic, or Alex O'Connor, raises the point to do with where you might think that, if you go to the gym, that's like something you don't want to do, but you actually do want to go to, like, if you go to the gym, then you actually do want to go to the gym because you're choosing like that over like being lazy, or you might get fat or something like that. You want it. You want to go to the gym, or just for whatever reason to stay fit more than like getting fat or something. So it just goes like a deep, like you ask why basically for each layer. Like, why do you want to go to the gym? I want to stay fit. Why do you want to stay fit? You want to stay healthy. Why do you want to stay healthy? It brings me happiness, and I don't suffer from like diseases as much. So there's, and you'll get to the point where you'll say, well, why do you want that? Like, why do you want to like stay healthy or something? And you just get to the point of like, I just want it.
You just want it, yeah.
And you don't have control
It's almost axiomatic, isn't it?
over those wants.
That would also, that reminds me of, there are these experiments where the researchers got participants to either hold a hot cup of coffee.
Oh, go on.
You know it?
Yeah,
or a cold can of soft drink or whatever. And talk to someone. The person they were talking to was obviously a Confederate. But, if that's the right word to use. But they were asked to then judge the person they were talking to. And it was, when they were holding the coffee, they significantly rated the person as warmer and kinder than when participants were holding the cold soft drink.
Yeah. I do know that experiment. My brother Kieran actually I mentioned it in a conversation, and he didn't really remember the flaws in it, but there was something not like that great about the experiment. So since then I haven't been like telling it because because of that. So
Ah.
might need some more investigation into that.
Yeah, I wonder why would that be? Because I mean, warm and cold to describe personality, they're just words we've kind of made up. They don't really have anything to do with being temperature warm and cold. So I wonder.
So in
I
psychology,
get. I mean, you could. I mean, one like yes, it's just words, but like, I think they might have been rated on like you know how much did you like them? You know, did they have a good personality?
yeah, different. Yeah.
All that stuff. But not like rating them. Hey, were they warm or were they cold? Like, but I mean, just naturally, we're like warm sort of creatures.
Yeah, yes.
so,
you're not cold.
You know, if we get something cold to the touch, it's gonna be like less fun to have on you
Yeah.
than something that's warm.
Yeah.
And warm is like something that we know is like comforting. So, hence the association to being kinder or just a better person in general.
And that's called embodied cognition. That's the term for it.
Okay.
And so the reason I brought it up was because I think when people were asked why they rated the person they were talking to as warmer or colder or just kinder or harsher or whatever, they confabulated. They made up all sorts of different responses, right? Each participant had a different reason. But the actual only variables that were manipulated were the
hot,
hot and cold
drink
thing.
Yeah.
But it may not be the case though now.
Yeah.
Interesting what you said.
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. We were just saying maybe we could look it up to see what there might be some experimental flaws or some data analysis things that were a bit dodgy. But
Yeah.
when was it done? Was it recent or?
Oh, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
Could look up a peer review of that because they're the people that are going to be able to criticize it the most.
So was it like, you might not know, but was it actually part of like the replication crisis? Like was it one of those studies or?
Replication crisis? What's that?
You don't know? Okay,
No.
so there's been like a huge thing in psychology recently called the replication crisis where they tried to recreate a bunch of older social psychology studies.
Oh, yeah.
They
I do know about
They
that.
wouldn't replicate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also the publication bias, like the bottom drawer bias or whatever.
Yeah, like the studies which show things that are interesting, like, oh wow, if you're holding a hot cup of coffee, you're much more likely to rate a person as kind. They're more, and like this is a thing with all science, not just psych.
Yeah.
I think the replication crisis is maybe to a lesser extent for all sciences, but they're big journals are more likely to pick those stories up over studies that might just be just as valid and just as scientifically thorough, but they don't show interesting conclusions. So they might be more likely to pick up something that actually does show something interesting, even if it even if both studies are scientifically sound, they might skew the bias towards those phenomena being found.
Yeah,
though
you hear a lot of like, well, I think there is a bias to do with publications where they publish the positive associations, but not the negative. They never say, well, not never, but they're more likely not to say, hey, we did this study and we found
we found nothing.
Pianos don't cause arthritis or
Yeah.
something like that, right? I just made that up, by the way.
I'm sure piano doesn't cause
Well, that's the thing, right? If there are 5 studies published that show a significant result, but there are 95 studies that have never been published that no one knows about.
Yeah.
That's why it's called the filing drawer or something like that. The bottom drawer bias or something. It's a non-significant result. Just chuck it in the bottom of the filing cabinet, something like that.
And it reminds me about like studies, or like it's probably just like the problem with sensationalist articles, or like those sort of things where they, because I remember seeing articles where it said like, oh, a study shows that, you know, chocolate is good for you, or something like that, and then people, you know, can use that, like they just read the headings, right? They don't really click
it's
on
like
it.
the Daily Mail. They say, didn't they? I remember they published something. I don't know if it was this, but they had one article that says, "Oh, eat eggs. Eggs are good for you."
Yep.
And then another one that said, "Oh, don't eat eggs. Eggs
Yeah.
give you cancer."
I was
And they
thinking
just,
the same.
yeah, they just take these like these conclusions, even if they're not what the study actually said, and then just publish them basically as fact. New study shows that that eggs give you cancer, and and it might not even be might not even be what the study showed.
And to build on that, I want to build on that. A study might say, like going back to your example, Morgan, that chocolate is good for you. The title of the newspaper article, whatever, might say chocolate is good for you, but the study might prove that one piece of chocolate per day is good for you.
But they
There's no
don't.
nuance
I mean,
in the headline.
They don't put it in the headline.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's for clicks, and that's unfortunately how the system right now works.
I feel like a lot of
clicks-
people,
Clicks equal money.
a lot of people who aren't don't have a scientific background would say, "Oh, a study showed that.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's
That-
correct."
It's it's very dangerous to for like an uneducated population, especially in science.
And another thing, science can't really. And another thing is where they say this study proves that eggs give you cancer, but science can't really prove anything. It can only give evidence for or give evidence against something.
Yeah, that's why they don't call it the fact of evolution.
Yeah.
Or the fact of gravity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, they thought it was like a law of gravity, like when Newton came up with gravity, right? They thought it was a law, but then Einstein just proved exactly why you shouldn't call things laws or facts, because gravity is not what Newton said. Even though his calculations worked, they only work under specific conditions.
Yeah, it works on a specific scale, or like those.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something that works at a smaller scale, but not the larger scale, and maybe this vice versa for something else.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna use physics to piggyback back to free will.
Yep, good.
Which is another level at which we can talk about free will, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Everything is actually bound by physics, right? If we accept physicalism and naturalism, is that the right? I don't know. It's one of them. I think it's physicalism.
So you think that physics is like the highest sort of level of controlling the universe, you could say, because there's mathematics and there's chemistry, and physics, but yes, you could say that they're all intertwined, but are you saying physics is like the thing that controls everything, and then like chemistry and mathematics are just like a subset of physics?
I don't know what I think about maths yet. I've heard some good arguments about maths being the language of physics, but then I've heard, of course, other people, like Brian Greene is one of them, who said, well, what if it's not? What if one day aliens come to Earth and they show us the best thing we've got? This is his example, by the way. And we show them maths, and they're like, maths? That's all you've got? And we're onto this now.
Yeah.
But I think physics, at least from what I know about it, and I don't know much compared to some people, but compared to most people,
Sure, not compared to most people.
Most
people who
most
study
people
physics.
That everything is bound by physical law. Absolutely everything. From the moment of the Big Bang, this is a bit of a oversimplification now, but say the atoms in the universe were sent flying out in their specific parts. They're bouncing off each other, combining and all that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe not atoms, but particles of hydrogen or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That is purely governed by physical law. Even our bodies right now
true,
are
really.
purely governed by physical law at the fundamental level, right? Now, even if that doesn't...
I guess, yeah. And then that means like mathematics is governed by that. Like first you have the physical sort of thing, and then there's properties of that, to do with mathematics and the chemistry of those particles or whatever thing it is.
So chemistry is sort of still like
Still
physically
bound by
law. It's
physics,
still bound
because
by
when you
physics.
go into the atoms, they're still bound by physics, you know.
Exactly, it's
Still
just like
bound by forces and
exactly.
yeah.
And so because of that though, right? If you actually look at it from that level, there is not a single thing we can consciously do to change the laws of physics, right? How can we change which atoms are, say, bumping into each other? And again, oversimplification, but how can we change that consciously?
Okay,
If,
so-
if our consciousness is a
same
product
with
of the physical,
Yeah.
same with laws
Laws
of
of
like
universe.
chemistry and biochemistry. There's nothing we can do to change. Well, I suppose we can like take drugs and stuff.
yeah, well,
But
No,
but
yeah, we
that's
still
controlled by that.
True,
That's still
yeah.
controlled. Like it just goes.
Yeah, we can't
that,
change
like,
how
it's
biochemistry
You
works.
could say turtles all the way down.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay, but just to do it like okay, so tell me if you disagree with this. Then, just to do with like physics being like the highest thing, and then subsets of those are chemistry and mathematics.
Reverse it though, in my opinion. So physics is the lowest, most fundamental thing.
Oh yeah, sorry,
And
yeah.
you increase the complexity as you go up.
Okay, sure. But don't you think that maybe you might need chemistry as the most fundamental thing, because there has to be a thing for there to be anything else? Like if it's just like a pure nothing, then there's no physics at all.
But there wouldn't be enough
But
there.
but aren't
Like-
atoms are made up by? Well, we don't.
I mean, yes, there's
They're made
atoms,
up
but
by
there's also,
subatomic
like-
particles.
Yeah, there's also
Yeah.
that, and then there's like
But
probably
there
some
are-
other stuff I don't understand.
But there are actually also the laws of physics that govern what the atoms do.
Yeah,
Now,
atoms must follow.
I
laws
don't
of
actually
physics.
know that. Like this is where my knowledge is limited.
But
obviously,
couldn't it be the properties of the atoms or whatever it is, they have to exist for there to be it being controlled by like physics and maths. So
Oh yeah.
like
no,
unless you're saying like a pure nothing can exist, which is a bit paradoxical maybe, or like it's hard to comprehend what like there's a whole book by some smart expert
Yes.
on
On
what is
nothing, yeah.
nothingness, and it's like what the fuck.
Yeah.
Hard to comprehend even in a conversation, but
no, I'm not.
if-
I'm
because
not
if-
denying the reality of atoms, though.
sorry.
I'm not denying the reality of atoms. Like-
Yeah, I mean, as in that they exist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know, that's fine. No one's a flat earther here.
Yeah.
As in has crazy ideas. But if you're right, then I would think that, as in if physics is the most fundamental baseline thing, then if a pure nothing, then that means like a pure nothing like can exist, and there's physics in that pure nothing.
So that's what. That's the thing that I was wondering before. I was thinking it, but I didn't bring it up. But I guess you were thinking it as well. Obviously, are the laws of physics non-physical?
How
But
so?
okay, so it's like, well, like, how do they exist? Do they exist only only in that we observe?
We observe how
We
how they affect things.
Yes, only
Yeah.
that we observe their effects rather than them themselves.
Yeah, true. It's like the wind. Like we don't actually see the wind.
We don't- exactly,
Or hear the
exactly.
wind. Yeah, it's just that we just see
Or
leaves blowing and the trees moving.
Therefore we
and
know the wind is
yeah,
there.
Yeah, blowing through the trees.
yeah, and even you could say more invisible force is. I mean, we know we can see wind; it's particles moving, air particles. But gravity,
Yeah.
that's like it has
true.
it exerts force. I don't know.
Yeah.
That
We are
might not be
existing
the
in gravity
technical
right
term,
now.
but the like what is it composed of? You could say, and if it how like
Well,
You know, like
Yeah,
light,
I know
like
what
light
you
is
mean.
photons,
Yeah.
right?
I think that's a non-question though, right?
So like,
it's not composed of. Well, I suppose
so
like
how can it be
yeah.
something if that
I
makes
suppose
sense?
2,000 years ago, people
Yeah,
would have
no,
said the
that's-
same thing about wind. They would have said, "What? Wow, wind! We can't see it. It must just be some magical force that's not composed of anything at all." So maybe in 2,000 years' time, we'll find that gravity actually is composed of something.
Well, gravity. Okay, my understanding of gravity is that when anything is heavy, even
Yeah.
us, right? We actually are bending space time.
Yep.
Hmm.
I think space and time is a function of that. If I remember it correctly.
Uh-huh.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I might be wrong, but I know that. So the Earth is heavy, right?
No, Aiden, except say what you're saying with full 100% confidence.
Yeah. I'm a physicist. I know exactly
Oh, yes,
what
of
I'm
course.
talking about.
Doctor Aiden
I'm like
Nicole.
Deepak Chopra.
Doctor? Only doctor? You mean professor?
Professor.
Professor. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Deepak Chopra.
Have you seen the video of him with Sam Harris?
Yeah,
And Sam Harris is calling him out.
I know. It's so infuriating. Like Sam Harris is really articulate, and
I know.
he like really digs into him. But Deepak Chopra, he's just a slimy, like his words are slimy.
Who is this?
He's very charismatic, but he's very persuasive. Just like
I mean, that's like any like great speaker.
yeah, he's a good speaker.
yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
He's a good speaker, but his ideas are shit.
yeah.
Who is Deepak Chopra? I've never.
He's I think he's a medical doctor. He's got a medical doctorate, but he turned towards naturopathy and homeopathy and
Oh, yeah.
a bit of meditation, which is meditation.
Meditation's
is fine.
supported by science, but he's got a lot of like things that
Yeah,
aren't supported.
And
I
he's
may
gone
have
into, like,
seen this guy's
quantum
face.
field.
Oh yeah, yes. Sam Harris says that
That's-
he just
quantum
throws the word
consciousness.
quantum out
Yeah.
there, and he doesn't use it correctly. And I think it might be in that same, I don't know, event where Deepak Chopra says to the audience like if it
It was
Like,
that same, yeah,
yeah.
it was.
if there's any like quantum physicist or mechanic or whatever, then tell me that I'm wrong or something like that. And then some audience member who actually has the relevant qualifications comes and says that he's using it incorrectly and he's
No.
open to teaching him the right way to use it. And
That guy,
so good.
that guy had written a book with Stephen Hawking. Because he
Yeah.
always had a book. And he said, "I'm happy to give you an introduction
Yeah.
to physics."
Yeah.
It's,
What a
yeah,
roast.
I know.
But back to like gravity and possibly being composed of nothing, like physical.
Yeah, that's the freaky part about it. Like gravity is so okay. So the Earth is heavy, and the Earth bends space into it. Like you've all seen the diagram.
Yeah, and the weight,
Yeah.
it's like a
It's that, but in 3 dimensions.
like, it's like a grid, like an Excel
Yeah.
grid
Yeah,
almost, but it's
yeah.
just like squares, not rectangles. But and then the each like mass body, like a planet, it's like you drop it onto like a fabric and it bends
Oh
the
yeah, I've
fabric.
seen that
and
diagram.
depending on
And
like
black holes are like.
yeah, black holes are crazy.
infinitely
powerful.
dense.
Mm.
Yeah, that's gravity.
Mm.
So this is the thing: does gravity actually physically exist,
Mm.
or is
Yeah, that's
gravity-
interesting because you could say the same thing about forces, that they're not an actual thing, but they are. Like heat, like forces and energy, like heat doesn't seem to be an actual physical thing, but it is. It's like energy, and
He is the psychological interpretation of the transfer of energy. Is that
True,
'cause,
yeah, but like
heat,
heat-
our perception of heat doesn't exist.
Yeah, what
but
you
like-
mean is to do with like what
Yeah.
we interpret as heat
Transfer
is
of
actually
movement,
is actually excited
Exactly,
atoms
yeah.
like in a high
Mm.
state or something.
but
like
that's
that. They
just,
got a lot of energy.
Yeah, that's just an example. Or like magnetism, there's an actual, it's actual force. It's not like a physical object, but it's an actual force, like magnetic attraction. It's an actual thing. But is gravity like that?
Well,
There can only be gravity when there's physical objects, as in physical things to exist, and therefore
And there
that
has
props
to
up
be-
my argument at least a little bit to do with its chemistry that comes first.
But just because it relies on it, like just because like the physical laws maybe couldn't exist without chemistry, does that mean that chemistry is the baseline thing? Because chemistry, like, it's still controlled by physics.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think. Well, that's
So
what
I
think.
mean, you might still be right, but Aiden is also right.
So there's physics without chemistry.
I think you can have.
What?
Well, no. I
Maybe
think-
not
I think
necessarily.
You can have the laws of. You can have a void, right? You can have space. Like truly nothing means there is not even space, right?
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm not an expert.
Wait, is time? If there's truly nothing, can time even run? Does time count as a thing?
time exists only if matter exists, as far as I'm aware. So I'll explain that later. Again, I might be completely wrong.
Yeah.
But
We're just bumbling buffoons on this podcast.
Yeah.
exploring.
Yeah, we just
Reality.
keep talking about physics, and I don't think it's something that any of us know anything about.
Yeah.
So what were we talking about then? Like,
So, like I'm saying, so.
Oh yeah. So okay, why I think physics is before chemistry? Do you mean like for free will, or like just in general?
Just in general, I guess. I mean, it could. I don't have the exact line of thought lined up right now, but it could go back to free will.
So I
At least one part.
So I think physics, the laws of physics, are at the foundation, right? Now we might not know if they physically exist, in that we can't actually see the laws themselves, like the wind example Sam used. We can only see their effects on the material universe, but the laws of physics affect how chemicals or molecules interact with each other, which is chemistry. If a law of physics was different,
Yeah,
so
the
chemicals
chemistry
might bind
would be
differently, or the chemistry.
Yeah, I guess chemistry. Well, I guess there's that. Have you guys seen the little cartoon where it's like psychology and then but biology controls psychology and then chemistry controls biology?
Don't know if I've seen that video, but I understand what you're
Oh,
getting
it's like a little cartoon.
And what was the end result? What was the
that
thing?
that one said that maths was the
Okay.
mathematics was the first thing. But yeah, I don't know. Is mathematics an actual? Is that an actual thing, or is that just how we understand
exactly
the world?
I guess we can't know unless we find another intelligent species with potentially a different system of maths. Like we just wouldn't know. Like that's why, like Neil deGrasse Tyson famously said, maths is the language of the universe.
Yeah.
To which Brian Greene said, "But how do you know that?" Right? Like we don't know.
Wait, was that in the Katy Perry thing when she was doing some album promotion, and it involved like a bunch of celebrity guests, and one of them was randomly Neil deGrasse Tyson, and she said they were talking about school subjects, and she says, "Oh, is math related to science?"
Insert big brain moment meme.
Yeah. Yeah, no. But
Like, yes, I agree that that at least physics interacts with chemistry, but wait, I'm not sure if you answered it. So because then I could say that there would be no physics without the actual thing to exist.
Maybe there is no answer. Maybe it's just
okay,
like
wait. This is my
What?
answer.
It's circular.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
how
know.
the universe works
Yeah.
at its
This
most
is my-
fundamental
But, like,
levels.
yeah.
It's circular.
You know, they're like two different things. Like
We just call it a fallacy.
Yeah.
Fallacy.
like chemistry, physics, laws of physics, they can't exist without a thing to act on, which is chemistry and all the things. But chemistry is fundamentally controlled by physics. So I don't know if there is one baseline level. Maybe they're just two things that can't rely on
Here's my
on
answer,
each other.
right? So this is my answer. You can have the laws of physics and a void of space with nothing in it. There'd be no time, right? Because there's no matter to create time. Because nothing would change. It'd just be a void. It would be a void of space.
But
So you're saying there can be physics without anything to exist.
But the minute you fill that void with stuff, matter, then the laws of physics that already exist in that void would start acting on that matter.
Like they still exist, but they're not acting on anything. And then
Yeah,
that's
but,
another
but
thing.
I mean, yes, I agree if that premise is true, being that you can have a like a sort of maybe a pure nothing or something. Like you don't have to have anything to exist, but there'll still be physics around. Then yes, I agree.
No, but that's not nothing though. A void of space is still not nothing. Right? There is still space.
Yeah.
If there was nothing. there's
Okay, so
literally-
in a void of space, you're saying then there'll still be physics.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is what we exist in. What the universe is. It's a void of space filled with matter.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. That's
And
like-
so would you argue that in a complete void of nothingness there's no time? Because I'd say that, like, even if it's complete nothingness, like, time still goes on, because time is in
No.
No.
Time-
I know.
exist.
I think I know how you're
But
viewing time.
Time isn't just, that's not just how it affects objects. Time is kind of outside of objects. It just goes on. You know?
So the experts
Do you-
would say no.
All of them? Or some of them?
Most of them, I'd say.
How would you, go on.
Okay, so just based on what I've heard from
That's
experts, it is that it seems like a general view or general consensus of that sort that time isn't like this outside thing. It's actually controlled by like objects or like matter. I mean, like going around like if you like in Interstellar they go like around a black hole, or time moves differently around a black hole, and if you go back to the same point, your daughter's now older than you, and it's like, so to me that like it kind of blows my mind how time can like work like that. So that sort of like,
Yeah, that's
but I
interesting.
I really do understand, like you could say it's a bigger time, like
Yeah,
it's
it's
like a
outside
meta time.
everything.
Yeah, there's time which is like controlled by like matter and stuff, but then you could just like have an outside perspective, like look, like you'll say like looking into this bubble of the universe, and then there is a timeline
Time existed.
of
Yeah.
shot of like all this stuff is happening. You know, it goes around the black hole, like, and that's like that doesn't change. So
So that's a fallacy. So
Isn't it a
for people who
Wait,
can't
Which
see
one
us,
is the fallacy?
Sam,
Sam's,
what Sam said is a fallacy.
yes.
How so?
Okay, so I'm holding a book right now called The Order of Time by Carlo Rovelli. It's all about time. Now,
So he probably doesn't know much about time.
him.
Yeah, I'm just messing.
Oh, yeah. No,
He's not an expert.
This guy.
Yeah.
He
No,
is
no way.
He's a poet.
He wrote a book, but he doesn't know anything. Of course.
He's a theoretical physicist.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, but
Deepak Chopra is probably smarter than him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Go on.
anyway, the fact that the idea that time always exists is wrong. Time exists only when matter exists. Time on Earth. Time on Earth is obviously different to time on Jupiter, because Jupiter's heavier, and the heavier an object is, the faster time moves for that object.
But does
Or
it actually?
slower for us?
Is Jupiter? Because obviously a black hole. It's
Actually, I think Jupiter's lighter, but then
isn't a black hole.
Then
It's
what?
like infinitely dense, or maybe not
it's
infinitely dense, but
no.
like extremely dense. But does Jupiter have? Is Jupiter heavy or dense? More dense enough to affect time in the way a black hole would? I don't know if that's.
Yeah, just to a lesser extent.
I'd say that Deepak Chopra is probably denser than a black hole.
Yeah. So, if you had one part of the universe that just had space, but there was no matter in it, so like you had like say we had the universe, or in this room even, but then there was like a little bubble here where there was just nothing existed, right? Like even light, it would look like a black hole, I guess, but there just nothing existed in this section of the room. You could say time wouldn't exist there.
Because there are actually, aren't there? There are actually parts of the universe which are just voids.
That have no
Right.
matter. And
Yeah.
because you need, okay, this is what he talks about in the book. The second law of thermodynamics is all about entropy, right? And entropy is, I believe that the universe will just be different to what it was a moment ago. Always will be different for what it was a moment ago, and more complex. And because there is change, we know that something once was, and now it's different. That 2 points in time, right? We know that there was a past for it to be different in. But if there is nothing but space, right? There's no matter. Nothing is different. There was nothing was different to how it was before.
I'm actually, I might need to read that book because I'm still not convinced by that. I think that goes back to the wind analogy, you know, because would you say that just because if you said like a flat, like 100 acres of just like flat concrete, nothing's there, and there's wind there, would you be able to? I mean, like, and you're not even there to feel the wind. Could you say that the wind doesn't exist there because there's nothing for it to act on?
Okay, but see, this is a famous philosophical argument. When the tree falls, when no one's looking at it, does it actually fall? Did it
Or
make
does
a
it
sound?
make a sound?
Well, I think
I'd say
yeah,
it does
the-
make a sound, and that the
Yeah.
wind
Right.
is there, and
Yeah.
that the time is still there.
But no, that's where it's different. If you went into that void, you would experience time in it because you are matter in that void. You are changing moment to moment. You would bring time to your section of that void. But if you left it, again, time would not exist there anymore.
But that's the thing, because if we have the wind, and say you in that like big parking lot or whatever, and there's nothing there, if you went in there, and the wind could then act on you to like ruffle your clothes or whatever, you'd say that
There's
you'd
wind,
say that
yeah.
there's wind, and maybe you'd say that because I didn't see the wind do anything,
Okay.
and now I've stepped into there and it's acting on me. You could say that now the
Now
winds
there is wind.
I've brought the wind in,
But
but that's not
Yes.
entirely accurate.
well, you haven't. But the wind is not the same as like time.
True, yeah,
But-
the analogy
but
doesn't extend all the way.
It's not a perfect analogy. But if a condition of the wind was that there is matter inside that area, that was a parking lot I think you were talking about.
Yeah, it's just
Or say
a
spot.
place where there's nothing to blow away. Just like flat cement for like 100
If it was
acres or whatever.
so in a place there was nothing to blow away, then
Then there would, by that, if the analogy extended to time.
yeah, it's not
Yeah,
it's
but
not
it
a
does,
good
yeah,
analogy.
true.
The wind would still exist in that case.
Yeah,
the wind would
but
exist.
time-
There'd just be nothing blowing around. Time.
But how could well, maybe not prove that. How could you give evidence for that? I suppose there's the black holes thing, which shows that like matter can affect time, rather than just time affecting matter. But what are some other points of evidence for that? To say that.
I wouldn't know the physics for it. I'm just
But just like
I'm just reciting what I've read in this book. I take his word as it is. He's quite educated, this guy.
yeah.
But
There's a lot of people.
So is Deepak Chopra.
There's
Yeah,
a lot of
medical
people who are
degree.
quite educated.
no, not in physics though. Not in.
No, but true.
Not specifically educated in time itself.
But Deepak Chopra is educated in medicine, yet he still talks about naturopathy.
Yeah, but this guy is educated
And
in
homeopathy.
theoretical physics, and he talks about time and theoretical physics.
True.
He doesn't talk about biology or evolution.
Just to do with while you guys were talking, then I was looking up things to do with time and like trying to find like what the scientific consensus is or something like that. This is from www.amnh.org, but says in the special theory of relativity, Einstein determined that time is relative. In other words, the rate at which time passes depends on your frame of reference. And was like looking up like, is Einstein right about time? Like trying to find what do the majority of those who know about this stuff think? Wasn't able to find that just yet, but this thing, www.newscientist.com, says the world's most precise atomic clock has confirmed that time dilation predicted by Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity works on the scale of millimeters. Not sure if that really answers
So
anything, but what do you guys know?
No, do either of you
I
have a
know.
friend who actually knows about physics? Because I feel like I need to have someone who actually knows about physics.
My girlfriend does.
Aha,
Okay.
true.
Bring her on next time or something. No, but the atomic clock thing, they have one clock on Earth and they have one clock in a plane. The plane clock, the atomic clock has gone slightly faster than the clock on Earth.
Cool.
Yeah, which is insane. Like because they are moving faster through space than the clock that's.
Isn't that
just in the
interesting? They
station.
measured it in millimeters.
That's a pretty big.
Like I don't know, just to do with like that's millimeters is the distance.
Yeah.
Oh,
not
yeah.
to do with like time. Like they didn't say there was a time difference of 0.001 seconds or something like that, right? They didn't say that. They used the length measure, which is interesting.
Why are they?
And I don't
measuring-
understand.
Oh yeah.
I don't understand that either. Yeah, there obviously would be a reason why, but
Yeah, of course.
I don't know enough about that. So.
Should we go back to
Let's
free
go back to
will?
free will.
Yeah, we've been talking about physics non-stop.
Yeah, physics, chemistry. What's the baseline? Yeah,
So, but it was a good conversation. To have.
Yeah.
I got something to say.
Yeah,
So
go for it.
the person who I was thinking of before, the experiment that's was done by someone's name who started with L. Well, I found it. Libet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just read something from blogscientificamerican.com.
Wait, is it Libet or Libet?
Yeah, I don't know. Good. It's a good.
How's it spelled?
Libet.
Is
You'll
it
see it.
Le-
see it
Libet?
written there.
I don't know.
Not sure.
Yeah, I
Not sure what nationality is. Anyway, many people believe that evidence for a lack of free will was found when, in the 1980s, scientist Benjamin Libet, I don't know,
Whatever it is.
Libet,
Libet.
Benjamin
conducted,
L. Benny L.
yeah, conducted experiments that seemed to show that the brain registers the decision to make movements before a person consciously decides to move. So that experiment was actually referenced in Rationality Rules video of like why free will doesn't exist.
I think Sam Harris wrote about it in his book as well.
Right. And he also wrote about in the same video he also referenced some other experiment. Benjamin Libet actually says, or he said, I'm not sure if he's dead yet,
Yeah.
probably, that he still believes free will exists. He doesn't think that his own experiment disproved free will because he thinks there's like a free won't.
What?
Like that's what he called it. Like something like that. Like your brain, you're able to like veto basically a decision, and that's where
But how do you decide to do that?
yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's
But-
the kind of consideration.
Yeah, but so there was actually when I was researching to an essay, then
Oh yeah.
there was a study that was basically contesting this, like as in sort of seeing if he was right about this. But I don't really remember too much about the study, but basically seems Benjamin is wrong about this free won't or the veto thing. But yeah, like it's just more. I mean, okay. Before I move on, do you guys have anything to say about that experiment?
Well, I'll talk about him being wrong. Sam Harris brings that up as well. He said that so many philosophers and even neuroscientists will still believe we have free will simply because they feel like they have it.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
It's kind of crazy.
And
How
we know how like there's so much evidence like that shows us that our own personal experience is not actually great.
I know.
Yeah, but that comes back to, I guess, people's kind of having to shift their worldview, because if their entire worldview is that I determine my own actions and my own thoughts, so you'd have to shift that entire thing to I guess believe in what you're saying. So does Sam Harris, do you agree with Sam Harris on free will? Is that what he's saying? Yeah.
I agree with Sam Harris. Free will is an illusion.
I agree with you, and I guess I haven't seen what the Sam Harris had to say, because when he initially told me, I thought he was talking crazy.
Yeah.
Because I thought when you said free will doesn't exist, you were talking about fate and a higher power. And I thought it was either that, a higher power determining everything, or complete free will. I hadn't considered that there could be a third option, which is there is no higher power, but it's still our brains.
Yeah.
But now I do agree.
That just reminds me about people who say, well, they basically make an assumption where they say they insert a who into it, well, who created the universe? But they can't say that. They should instead say, how was the universe created, or was it ever created, they're basically assuming some intelligent being into it. But that's sidetracked.
And we're back.
Just had a quick bathroom break.
Yeah.
During the break, though, we were talking about just two aspects of the free will debate. One is determinism, and the other one is randomness. And Morgan brought up the point that, which we came to, I think, simultaneously once at a conversation we had in the past, where whether the universe is random or determined, in neither of those cases is there free will. If the universe is determined, you don't have control over the prior causes that led to whatever conscious or technically unconscious decision maybe. But it's a conscious decision, but you just don't have control over it.
Yeah.
The prior causes that led
they
to
can
it.
still be conscious decisions.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
And even if it's random, it's still not free.
If you say roll a die on where the electrons will be at a certain point in time, and that, let's just say that controls what then happens from that point onwards, then it's still what you think that the atoms, you could say roll to 4, you don't have control over what the result of that roll was.
Could there be a third thing?
Well, that's
what is it?
Yeah, what is it?
That's the thing. I don't know.
Oh, well,
I don't know. But could there be a third thing?
I've thought a lot about this possible third thing, and I cannot think.
Yeah, that's the.
It's compatibilism, but I still don't buy into compatibilism.
What is?
I don't buy compatibilism. Daniel Dennett does.
Daniel Dennett, yeah.
Tell me about compatibilism.
Compatibilism is this view that the universe is deterministic, but we still have free will. I just don't buy it.
Yeah. That's a question I wanted to ask. Well, you you guys and anyone who didn't believe in free will, and it's not necessarily a question that argues for free will, but so you saying that right now there's we don't have free will. It's just the kind of neurochemistry of our brain, and that. But but could there be, by your view, could there be a possible circumstance where there is free will, complete free will, and how would that work?
I just don't believe there is. And Morgan, talk about what you brought up about the sodium-potassium pump.
Yeah.
That will answer Sam's question.
Yeah, but just before that, you asked what compatibilism is. So, there's on Wikipedia. Compatibilism is the belief that free will and determinism are mutually compatible, and that it is possible to believe in both without being logically inconsistent, which is sort of mind-blowing to me, how that can make sense, how there can be determinism and free will. I don't understand that. But to do with the sodium potassium pumps, then
oh yeah, I've learned about this, so maybe it's something
in psychology. Then you don't control like if a neuron fires, right? If you look at how a neuron works and what controls its firing, at least one aspect is like the levels of sodium and potassium on either side, and then something happens. I'm not sure what causes it, but it causes like a chain reaction, and it causes either the sodium, either the like. Then there's calcium as well.
Yeah, I can.
But like to go
talk
through the
about that,
pumps, and then that drives the electrical signal forward through the neuron to reach another neuron, and you don't control that single neuron firing. You also don't control any of the other neurons firing, but your brain is literally like that's how your everything that you think of is controlled by. So how the hell do you think that you have?
So yeah.
Like
Yeah,
at what
with
point
that,
do you draw? Do you say,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah," and this is the point where I have free will?
With that's the point where I can control. Yeah, with that it's so it's like a wire, but instead of like so it is like it's say one segment of the neuron. It's kind of the ions travel in a way that instead of in that the charges on the inside versus the outside is kind of reversed.
Yeah.
And that flips, and then the next one flips, so it travels down. But yeah, then you can have others where, because obviously at the very end of a neuron, maybe one neuron feeding into it is firing, and the other one, or firing an excitatory signal, which will activate the neuron, and the other is it firing an inhibitory signal, which doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's like
It's the battle of the neurons.
Yeah, it's the battle of the
who's firing,
neurons,
who
yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah. That's another thing. So that's why I recommend David Eagleman's book. He talks about if you're trying to decide between chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream, you have neural networks in your brain that represent all aspects of that ice cream: the texture, the flavor, what they look like, even possibly things we're not consciously aware of. For example,
Yeah,
But,
like our past experiences.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like if you drowned in chocolate ice cream as a kid, you probably wouldn't want chocolate ice cream.
Even if you didn't remember it, but
I said like deciding who's firing when I was talking about neurons. I was meaning that metaphorically. I didn't actually mean
oh yeah,
like sort of what I was saying before, like who they're inserting
Yeah.
who when
Yeah.
it's not that.
Yeah.
I was sort of personalizing the neurons, like
anthropomorphizing.
yeah, that's it. And like I was saying, like a battle, a battle of who fires and who doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
so I didn't mean it literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the
So
chocolate.
chocolate vanilla. So our brain is a conflict machine, and the neural networks that represent chocolate ice cream and those that represent vanilla ice cream are actively trying to outfire each other and suppress the firing of the other network. Whichever one wins is the decision we make. This happens at like ridiculously fast speeds, obviously.
Yeah.
But like it's
and at huge levels.
Yeah.
With million, well,
You make
billions,
it's sort of-
trillions. I'm
Probably-
not sure
probably millions.
of neurons.
Yeah, maybe millions to tens of millions.
It
Like, how many neurons would be involved in a
I'm gonna look it up. 'Cause I feel
chocolate
like
ice cream?
at least. All right, let's take a guess. How many
Have you
neurons are in
seen
the
what-
human body? I mean,
In the brain,
in the brain.
86 billion.
Wait, you know that?
Yeah.
There we go.
cheater. No, okay.
They used to think it was 100 billion, but they recently found a much more accurate way of doing it. They, instead of taking a section of the brain, which you don't know, that some sections might be more dense than the other, they basically use this gel or like a liquid, and it pulps the brain, turns it into a soup. Then you freeze it. but it evenly distributes the neurons. through
Oh
the
yeah,
soup.
cool.
They freeze it. They take a
Yeah,
section
yeah.
of that,
And they
that's
cut
way
it.
more accurate.
Yeah, interesting.
It's a smoothie.
But
Brain smoothie.
Is brain meat?
yeah, I don't think it is.
I think it is.
This is in reference to a discussion previously to do with is brain meat, and then we're like defining what meat is, and then we're defining what flesh is, and so it boils down to your perspective of definitions to do with those words.
True. Yeah, it is all in definitions. Yeah.
for certain things. Yeah.
Well, yeah, for the brain is
The
meat.
brain, yeah, for that one. Yeah.
Because then, if the brain isn't meat, then our podcast name wouldn't work because it's, well, I mean, not entirely
Yeah.
based on, but partially based on this quote that the brain is just a meat computer.
Well, if
It's
our
just a
brains
meat
were just
machine.
silicon chips, but our bodies were meat, I think the...
True,
the-
yeah, so it's
it
two
would still
different
hold.
things.
Yeah.
But
There's a great quote. I'm just gonna find it now, but
that's just a...
it's by Cosmic Skeptic in his video, "Why Free Will Doesn't Exist."
Yeah, I've
Just
only
find
seen,
it.
the only thing about that guy I've seen is Aiden sent a clip of him talking about
Found it.
cancel culture, which is not something I necessarily agree with. But I don't know, like I'm
you
sure
don't
it's...
agree with cancel culture, or you don't agree with what he said in the clip?
Well, don't agree. No, I don't agree with what everything he said in the clip.
I found the clip.
Maybe that's another
Save that
episode
for
of the
another
podcast.
episode.
Yeah.
By the way, we're coming up with other names for the podcast, and this is why we were talking about the definitions of meat and flesh and whatnot. But having the podcast name "The Flesh Machines"
Flesh-
doesn't
yeah,
really
that's
sound
not-
as nice.
No, it
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
roll off the
Um, Sorry.
doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
No.
Well,
Um,
it
Alliteration.
does. Yeah.
But I suppose not just alliteration,
Yeah.
it's also the imagery it brings up.
Yes.
Yeah.
The neurons it causes to fire in your brain.
Interesting. Maybe certain ones, yeah. That's interesting. Why do we like the name meat machines and not flesh machines? We don't have.
Don't know why.
Yeah, we don't
I mean,
have a.
yeah.
free will.
What neural? Like, I don't understand how the brain works. Like, they're all
I suppose
they're
it's-
all like chemical,
Mm.
just like things, and like just like you look in biology and you see diagrams of cells and whatnot, and it's like, so where's the chocolate neuron? Where's that neuron
Yeah.
that wants chocolate? Like,
Yeah.
and
So it's- yeah,
if they're all the
different-
same, like, how do they communicate
like,
these
different
these
neurotransmitters.
strange
Yeah.
ideas
Mhm.
between each other? Like, I don't understand that. But just to do with the microchip comment, what did you say about that?
Well, he said that if the brain wasn't meat, the name of the podcast wouldn't make sense. But then I said,
Well, partially.
the brain is
but
just
yeah.
in isolation, right? But like that's the brain in isolation.
Mm.
But then I said, if we had silicon chips as brains, but our bodies were still meat, then the name would still make sense.
Mm, yeah, true. I mean, meat machines was also in reference to the human body as a whole, not just the brain. So it would still make sense.
Yeah. Here's a quote from Cosmic Skeptic from his video "Why Free Will Doesn't Exist." This is probably my favorite quote. It's one of my favorite quotes ever.
Ever. Oh, wow.
Feel as though it does have control. And what really is the difference between a mind made of silicon and one made of flesh in relation to liberty of thought? Well, that's a topic for...
So he's going to say that's a topic for another video, but I can't see the difference.
Yeah.
Like, if you slowly replace every neuron in your, like, it's sort of like the ship of Theseus,
Yeah, true.
where you replace. So for those who don't know, the ship of Theseus, if you have a ship and it's called Theseus, then you use the ship, and then one plank gets old and wears away, and you need to replace it. So you replace it with a new plank. Is it still called the ship of Theseus? And you'd probably say yes, it is. Of course, like, it's a small thing that you replace. But then slowly you replace every single part of the ship of the original ship of Theseus with a new replacement. And then, is it still the ship of Theseus? You might say yes, but then if you get all those old parts that you stripped away from the original and you reconstruct it, then now you've got two ships of Theseus. So how does that work?
That's like our bodies as well, isn't it? Like our bodies are constantly regenerating.
Yeah. Just to do with the neurons, then if you slowly replace each neuron with a silicon chip or whatever, then it's like, I don't see a reason why it doesn't make sense for machines to have conscious thoughts or feel like they have free will, or the very things that we feel. it's just a difference of materials being used, and that doesn't seem like there's a difference. It's more to do with how the atoms are ordered, or how the information passes from one area to another, or something like that.
Yeah, just another thing on that. We one of the things we I guess commonly say is that would kind of differentiate a sentient computer or a sentient AI from something that's non-sentient would be that it could have free thought, it could have free will, but if we don't even have free will, then where's that difference coming in?
Yeah.
It's just like different levels of.
Well, I think that just comes from the misconception that we do have free will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We feel like we have free will, and therefore we do have free will. Like that's a shit argument, but it's
amazing.
subscribed to by the general population.
It's like the Earth looks flat, therefore it is flat.
Yeah.
It's the same argument, same structure.
Same structure of like thought.
Now, I just want to read this quickly from it's a very similar quote.
From what book?
It's called Robots and Minds by William Lycan. I think it's from his book Consciousness, but it's a chapter on robots and minds.
Mm-hmm.
And he proposes a thought experiment where you, as you said, neuron by neuron replace someone, and limb by limb replace someone's body with prosthetics. And they would still be the same person. It would just be different makeup.
Yeah.
And so anyway, the quote I want to read is, "What matters to mentality is not the stuff of which one is made, but the complex way in which that stuff is organized."
Yeah. When you said I remember you said that quote to me, which is why I was thinking about like how it's ordered. That's what matters more. Yeah, because I agree with that quote.
It's a brilliant little chapter, I think, from his, well, not even a chapter, it's just a little section of his book, but he looks at he calls it Henrietta. You could replace her, every atom of her body or every molecule of her body with a digital one, or you could create Harry, which is just another thought experiment, from scratch, but there would be no difference between them. One started as an organic thing and was replaced. One was just created as an artificial thing.
Yeah.
And I think he then goes on to talk about the moral rights that robots would have.
Yeah, I think that I think that the brain is a spectrum. So we've got things like we've got things that aren't alive, like rocks, right?
Yeah.
And then we got I'm gonna go up in scale really quickly here, but basically we got rocks, no, not alive, nothing sort of thing happening in a brain or anything like that. And then we got bacteria, and yes, there's information passing, but not very complex. And then we got ants, right? And they communicate signals and whatnot. And I feel like most people would say that ants are like robots. They're just doing what their brain tells them to, communicating and sending these signals to, and then we got like mice, and like you go up the levels, and the brain gets more complex and has more ability to do things.
That's the thing. I know this isn't what you were trying to say, but there's like, and you may know about this, there's levels between completely not alive things and bacteria, like viruses.
Yes.
Yeah, they technically don't fit the definition of being alive. And then I think it's prions that are just, they're just it's I think mad cow disease is one example, and they're misfolded proteins, and that's all they are.
Yeah.
Whereas viruses, they have like a shell and a RNA inside them and proteins like enzymes inside them. Prions are just misfolded proteins, but when they come in contact with normally folded proteins, they will make them misfold, and then the proteins become misfolded. So, but with those two things, they're not technically alive, but they're still kind of replicating.
Yeah.
So that's a kind of,
but they're not. Yeah. I mean,
replication at the most.
One
basic.
of the definitions in biology to do with life, like what is life, is to be able to self-replicate. Viruses can't self-replicate.
They can't do that.
They need a host to do that, which is why I mean, that's just one reason why. But yeah, the line is blurry in as to what life is and what isn't.
Yeah, so it's just, I mean, scaled up from I guess viruses, and then from bacteria. Are we just really complex versions?
Exactly.
We're just going about
The ants are just going about their thing, just doing what their neurons tell them to, or the chemicals that in them. But we're just a more complex version of that. Just because we think that we have free will doesn't mean we have. We have it.
Yeah, viruses evolved to do that basic kind of. I guess their basic function to reproduce, use a host to reproduce. But did we also evolve with just having all these complex things?
Yeah.
And we've evolved those things to, one, stay alive, two, pass on our genes.
Yeah.
And maybe complex thought is helps us with that, because, I mean, going back to the caveman times, in the Neanderthal times, it would be like maybe it helps us be smarter, helps us plan how we're going to hunt and build tools.
It's all to do with like replication and natural selection. As to the reason we're alive today, and we're
just more complex replication machines than bacteria.
Exactly.
Yeah, basically. I took a like an elective class on evolution last year, and it was really interesting. They said without evolution there is no biology. Everything in biology comes back to evolution, because without, if it hadn't evolved, it wouldn't be there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Aiden, you pulled out a book.
You pulled out another book. How many books have you pulled out?
Just two. This is my second one. But I've just reminded me of this book by Paul Nurse. He's a Nobel Prize winner. What is Life? It's a very short, really readable book. Like, I read it in like 2 days or something. It's only 100 pages.
Right. That's like how long Sam Harris's one is on free will.
His one's like 60 or something. It's even shorter.
Oh.
It's like
Oh, right.
There's like a bit of a bibliography at the end of it.
And there was like foreword and.
Yeah. But the actual book itself is like, but there's literally just 5 chapters, and he talks about what is life like. So I
found the study that I referenced earlier. So I was right in the quote in terms of free won't.
Oh yeah.
So the title of the article is from ncbi.nlm.nih.gov. You guys may recognize this website. It's reputable, right?
We should put like links to all the everything we discuss.
Yeah.
The books and the videos by Sam Harris and stuff, and those studies.
Yeah. So
description.
The title of this article is "There is no free won't. Antecedent brain activity predicts decisions to inhibit." So antecedent is like before, right?
It's a fancy word for a prior cause.
And that, so that predicts if you will predicts if your brain will decide in quotation marks to inhibit doing something.
Oh.
So
what?
So it's like it's
so what is
it's still
free won't?
it's like again a total all the way back, but
let's go.
What is free won't? What free won't would be a good name for this episode, because not in that context of that specific term, but just in general, free will, more like free won't.
Oh yeah, I get you. Yeah.
And then they can listen when you listen for an hour, because we've been going for more than an hour now. You can listen, then an hour it finally all comes back. It's why did they name it that?
Yeah,
you'll find out.
Last moment decisions to inhibit or delay may depend on unconscious preparatory neural activity. So that last sentence is probably the most relevant. So last moment decisions to inhibit or delay may depend on unconscious preparatory neural activity. But we don't even need this study to we just talk about determinism. It it just feeds back into that.
Well,
I feel
I
like.
think of like someone who's addicted to drugs. If you think about free won't, then using that concept or that framework, you should be able to get someone who's addicted to drugs should just be able to decide they don't want to be addicted anymore.
And
Which just doesn't. If I understand free won't, the concept of free won't correctly, which just is not the case.
something I think Cosmic Skeptic raises, yeah, he does in his video, but it's like, if you think that you have the ability, alright, this may not relate directly, but the ability to like choose your beliefs, I don't think you can choose your beliefs.
Neither do I.
You just have feelings of your beliefs, or like you don't, but it's like, if you think that you can choose your belief, well, choose to believe right now that the world is flat.
True.
Like not. I don't mean the idea of understanding to believe that we all understand the concept of believing that the world is flat, but to truly actually believe it,
you can't.
You can't control that, nor can you control choosing to like the opposite sex. Like, I'm straight, but I can't choose to have a preference for men, right? So
Yeah, it's like, I mean, people can maybe change religions, but that's not, and like they can actively say, oh, I'm Christian now, like I've decided to convert to Islam, but that's not, because like, that's not a conscious choice, that's based on, I guess, something they've seen or something that's happened that's caused their unconscious beliefs to align close to Islam.
And like, it's crazy how influenced humans are by what they experience. Like, you could be a Christian, but then you see something horrific, or your child dies, right? Many people go through a crisis of faith when their child dies, like if they're a believer in God, because they're like, they don't understand how this horrible thing could happen. But they didn't have that like crisis of faith, or they didn't have this huge battle in their mind of if God is real or not or whatnot before their child died. It's like, we are so influenced by what we experience.
Yeah, and it's even not just massive life-changing events like that, but just seeing, I guess, if you're seeing stuff online and it's, say this example of recruiting teenage boys into fascism, they don't, there's just those, if you get trapped in a sort of, like a echo chamber of, or of anything really, and you just go down that rabbit hole of seeing just those, just points of view that align with a certain political perspective, then maybe your belief will unconsciously change. And it's not a coincidence that the if you look at the religions, like if you look at a world map and where the religions are located, it's not a coincidence that they're in segments, like huge chunks of land that are all like one religion, or basically one. You are so heavily influenced by your surroundings, what you grow up with. Like, and I don't understand how this doesn't shake people's belief in their own God, because there are thousands of gods, and it just happens that you were born like in Australia, and you grew up in a Christian household, and now you're Christian and you believe in the Christian God. Even subsets of Christianity.
Exactly, and it's like, don't you understand that if you grew up in a Muslim country, you're gonna believe in Allah, right? Not Christianity, and you agree that your place of birth wasn't like it was chance basically.
Yes.
But you hold so vehemently, I'm not sure, strongly. You believe so strongly in your own God, and discredit all the other gods. But it's like, bro, that's just down to chance and human psychology.
Do you pronounce it Allah or Allah?
Allah.
Is that correct?
I mean, I when I hear it from like the prank videos from like 2013, Allah Akbar.
I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think I don't know.
So that's
Allah.
Allah.
Allah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say Allah, but I'm sure I've heard. I'm sure I've seen a video of someone saying it. But I don't know.
I'm just thinking about the prank videos.
Yeah,
The fake ones.
That's like, why do we choose to believe that it's pronounced a certain way? Because of stuff that's happened in our past.
Yeah.
That's influenced us.
Yeah, and politics is. If I grew up in the South of America, in the Bible Belt or something,
Yeah.
and also like Republicans
You'd be racist.
are like, yeah, like Republicans or like your political views are heavily determined. Like I grew up in a scientific household. We're more left leaning, and I'm left leaning too. But I'm sure that if I grew up in the Bible Belt with a conservative family, then I'd probably hate gays or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's another example.
and it's like when you have debates with people, like, you know, I say, you know, you should respect gay people's rights, or the gay people should have rights or something, and then the conservative says, well, they shouldn't.
Well, they shouldn't.
And it's like, and we're so,
We're still.
I say just generally closed-minded, where we're more influenced by how we grew up and our experiences of that than we are to actual reasoning and evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just another example of determinism, isn't it? We just do not control these variables.
Yeah. And we don't control what beliefs we hold or how strongly we hold them.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
even if
And
we
don't
are,
know
yeah.
why.
And we don't know why, yes. And to do with like,
Subjectively.
yeah. And to do with like the, an addict, right? Then they like, you know, you consume a substance and then your brain, it's just like chemical reactions of that substance with your neurons or whatnot, and then your brain is like, yeah, this stuff's good, you know, and it strengthens the neuron with another myelin sheath, right, around the neuron, which makes it more insulated and
Potential
yeah, it
response.
makes
something like that. But you don't control that, and now you're more
You perform the action better, or like, you know,
you're more likely to do it again. But that's like all chemical.
Yeah,
You got another myelin sheath. Did you put that myelin sheath on? As in it?
Yeah, did
Did you choose to do that?
Yeah, like did you create more receptors for the neurotransmitters?
Yeah. Did you choose to like take cocaine or something, but then not put more myelin sheaths on your neurons? No, you didn't.
exactly.
It's chemical.
We gotta have also, if we're thinking of getting other people on the podcast, I don't know if we are, but we should have someone who doesn't agree with us at all. Because, I mean, I would have been like that before Aiden convinced me, but and we should just give them nothing in advance. We should just have them come on with the.
Yeah. Someone here mentioned about the echo chamber or something, and just made me think about how well, I mean, at least you and me, Aiden, we're pretty much in agreement of like everything, and we rarely have like disagreements, but when we do, then you know we talk it out, and I think we always do like come around. Someone comes around to the other person's point of view.
But it's usually about the semantics as well.
Yes, true.
Core
Yes,
point, like that, which is kind of cool in a way, like which also actually going back to what you were talking about, it highlights our different ways of our both you and me, our different ways of viewing the world that cause us to have a different semantic view of, or like just to express the argument differently in different terms, but to mean sort of the same thing.
And just to do with humans, like just looking at human brains and how complex they are, we do, like, there's a spectrum of people. Like there's people with delusions, hallucinations, and just like their brains are just different, basically. And you can look at, say, like a highly functional person, a person who's highly functional, who has like autism. Like I'm watching The Good Doctor right now with my parents,
Oh, yeah.
and Sean Murphy is the one with autism, and his brain just sort of works differently, but he doesn't control
How is
the
brain
way
works?
he thinks, and neither do we.
Neither do we.
The like neurotypical people.
Yeah, their brains are just differently wired.
Yeah, and
This reminds me of the brain tumor example.
yeah, the brain. Do you want to explain it? You raised it.
Yeah,
it's
it's,
really good.
Something Sam Harris has brought up. Obviously,
So good.
it's a real thing. This really happened.
Yes.
There was a guy who he just started to have aggressive tendencies out of nowhere. He was a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Put part of that. Never had any criminal record. But one day he just went to go to university campus. It's messed up, but like he just shot people. He like went up to the town to just shoot people. Then he shot himself. Oh no, he killed his family and then he killed himself. And in his
Suicide note.
he said, I've been having compulsions of like, please examine my brain.
Yeah, after I'm like,
After
please do an autopsy on me and or like examine my brain and
And it came out that he had a brain tumor in his...
amygdala.
Was it amygdala?
Isn't that
The fear center? Is it?
maybe aggression and stuff like
Aggression
that?
and fear. Yeah, I think
I thought it was his prefrontal cortex.
It could have been.
maybe.
I'm not
It
sure.
was some area, yeah. Like even Phineas Gage, who had the...
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was his-
the rail.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, the
steel
metal
pipe,
bar
steel
shelf
rail,
and-
steel
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, he
thing.
changed after that as well.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
But so anyway, Sam Harris then goes on to say that this guy, he only did that act. He only murdered people because of that
Yes.
thing. But if you look at any other murderer, if you just trace back all the different things in their life,
yeah,
and including their genetics, like it would be just as exculpatory as
yeah,
the finding a brain tumor in their head.
yeah. And it raises an interesting point to do with people who most of us despise,
Yeah.
pedophiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
really, pedophilia, is it just...
It's
Just
just
a
a brain
mental illness,
state
yeah.
as literally everything else
It's
is.
crazy. Isn't
Which
it?
Yeah.
and Sam Harris raises the point too with like hate. There's no
Yeah.
you might know better. Do you want to
There-
say
there-
what
there is-
Sam Harris says about it?
So if you accept determinism, there is no moral justification for hate.
Mm.
And like because like why should you hate someone? Oh, sorry, no moral justification for punishment.
Mm.
Hate is like another sort of byproduct of accepting determinism.
Yeah.
But it also frees you from suffering. And there was this. He actually brings up another real example. There was a man whose family was killed by a Nazi soldier or something. Or I think it might not be a Nazi, but and he tracked this guy down. He found him and he turned him over to the police.
Mm.
But the guy was released after 2 years, and he regretted that his whole life. He could have chosen to kill him,
Right. Yeah.
but he chose to
Turn him over to the
turn him over to the police, and he regretted that for the rest of his life, right? But then he says, well, if a bear came and killed your family,
Yeah.
and you went and you would not feel the same hatred towards a bear,
Yeah.
because it's a bear, it's going to kill your family.
Well, I mean, you
That's
might.
just what it does, as we say.
But
Like,
you-
we
you
don't,
might
we
still-
humans don't usually attribute free will to animals. They're just
Yeah.
doing what they're
Yeah.
programmed. quotation
But that's
marks, to do.
interesting because, like, I'd say, like,
But we're
if
better than
a
them.
if a bear killed your family, you'd go out and like shoot the bear, and you'd probably still hate the bear, right?
I think you'd feel a lot differently to
Oh.
if it was a bear compared to a human.
Yeah, like if
True,
say
yeah.
a human came and just axed your whole family, as opposed to a bear coming in, you'd feel very differently.
You would feel differently. It might be a different type of hate, but you'd still hate the bear, wouldn't
You
you?
might,
You might.
Sure.
but so the
I'm
point
sure
is
some people would.
the point is the difference in those,
Yeah.
in those feelings, because you attribute free will to the people that they can control what they do, and then as you go down the complexity of the brain of other organisms, then you attribute less and less free will. Like you might
So
attribute
you
more
wouldn't-
free will
yeah.
to like a dog or something, but you're going to attribute less free will to a rat if
True,
either
and
of them
two
bite
things.
you.
Because
Yes.
if a bear killed your family versus if COVID killed your family, would you hate the virus? Or like
Yeah.
say a bacteria, just to make sure it's something that's alive. If a bacteria killed your whole family, you would hate the bear, but maybe not hate the bacteria in the same way.
Yeah,
Because
Not in the same way,
You feel
yeah.
different.
Mm.
You feel differently about them.
And I guess that's another thing with humans, because there's another level of hate, because it's like on top of that, why did you killed my family? It's like not just the fact that you killed my family, but the fact that you chose, like you made the decision to kill the family. But if what we're saying about free will is true, maybe that doesn't apply at all, and it's just a fallacy.
They didn't
Quote, unquote.
have a choice.
Yeah, they did.
It was inevitable.
It was inevitable.
Is it?
As Thanos says,
Yeah.
I
It's
am inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he
'cause
was.
Thanos-
He was.
Mm.
If you look,
Yeah.
if you accept that determinism.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanos-
it was
because,
inevitable
he
that
had
Thanos lost in the end.
In the end. Yeah.
spoilers.
Yeah, sorry. If you haven't seen it,
Sorry.
that's just your own damn fault.
Yeah.
It's been
But yeah.
it's been out for a long time,
But-
right? We can't expect to not give like spoilers to like Rear Window or like,
Rear
you know,
Window.
some
Rear
old
Window.
movie if you haven't seen it. You know.
But yeah, that's interesting because Thanos, he said that his on his home planet they were suffering from overpopulation, but then I think was his planet the first one that he went and killed half the population?
No.
They collapsed.
Yes.
Oh, they
Because they
collapsed.
didn't
he
stop.
said
Oh,
that.
oh yeah, that's true.
No,
That's true.
we should do it random and kill
Dispassionate.
half dispassionate.
Oh yeah, but they didn't do that.
And,
Yeah,
and then
that's right.
they called me a
That's
madman.
right. Yeah.
And what I predicted came to pass.
So that's because his prior experience.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
That
then
based
this-
his view on
Yeah.
And also
on
his
the rest
brain,
of the
yeah,
universe.
his
And it
brain
was an
chemistry.
inaccurate
Yeah.
view.
Yeah, someone else that might happen to someone else, the exact same circumstances, but they might not decide to, but they might not want to kill half the universe because of the.
Personal experience is so powerful compared
Yeah.
to someone telling you like something.
I know, isn't it? Like even like you can actually experience for small moments yourself the non-illusion of free will, right?
How so?
So
Sam Harris isn't Sam Harris said that he doesn't feel
he said
like
that,
free will? Like he's actually disconnected from it, which is kind of crazy because it's hard to imagine that for myself.
But how do you?
Okay,
How do you- yeah.
firstly, he says that he spent years meditating and practicing to dispel the illusion of the self, which he terms as the other side of the coin to free will. But, okay, think of, this is, again, not going to be too far from the mic. This is Sam Harris's own example. So think of a movie.
Avatar
Star
2.
Wars.
Yeah. But why? Why did you think of that?
Because it's been recently in my mind. I watched a
Because
video
he
about it
gave-
recently.
Because Morgan gave the example of Star Wars.
Yeah, but...
That's true.
Yeah,
Hey,
But
yep,
why- but
this
why-
is pre-podcast
But why
Yeah.
did that come up?
convo.
And why do you not then think, well, because he brought it up so recently, I'll think of something else?
Yeah. that's
If you actually
interesting.
pay conscious attention to your thought process, you will see that thoughts just pop up into nowhere.
Yeah.
And even when you make like a stutter or a misspeech, that is not free will. Even the successful completion of a sentence is not free will.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to say until I say it.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't.
Yeah, that's interesting because.
Or until you know that you know you're going to say it. I mean, I could say, I know what word I'm going to say in like 5 seconds time, and I haven't said it yet, but I know it's going to be the word apple. So until you know, like it, you don't have to actually physically say it to know, but you don't know that you know until you know.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. You
That-
didn't
yeah.
know you were going to say that in 5 seconds you're going to say the word apple until you thought that.
Until I thought of the word apple.
Yeah.
And to truly have free will, you would have to think a thought before you thought it.
Yeah.
That's another thing, because say when you're going about your day-to-day life, you're responding to a problem, and you're being faced with problems. Say you're playing a video game, you're being faced with problems, and you're thinking of solutions to those problems, and then you're acting them out. You might think that shows that, hey, I'm myself responding to those problems. But then, say you were talking about meditating before. Say you're meditating. Have you tried meditating yet?
Yeah.
But when you're meditating, I've tried a bit. I'd like to do it more, actually.
Just for reference,
yeah.
I'm using Sam Harris's meditation app.
Yeah, waking up. Yeah.
I can give you both.
Oh, yeah.
For free 30 days.
Yeah, because I tried. I tried a meditation with a meditating app once, and it was the best meditation session I've ever had.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Anyway,
I know.
what were you saying?
But because the thoughts, they just pop up into nowhere. You don't choose to have those thoughts. In
Yeah.
fact, not only do you not choose to have those thoughts, but you actively don't want to have those thoughts, because
Yeah.
but they just still pop up.
Yeah. Like
We identify with those thoughts as
Yeah.
well, as if they are us.
Yep.
That's true. That's another good point.
That's the illusion of
we
self.
we identify with those thoughts, but they didn't come from us.
And even if you don't want the thoughts to come up, then they still do.
They still come up.
Pedophiles. There's a lot of pedophiles out there who don't want to be pedophiles because they're like socially excluded, and if they act upon their feelings, then if they get caught, at least, then they'll go to jail. That's consequences and all terrible things.
But they can't.
But they can't not feel attracted to children, right? Like try like it goes back, like try to be homosexual right now and do it. Like you can't.
You just
You
can't.
can't.
Yeah, or like try to what's a food you absolutely detest?
Brussels sprouts.
I really don't have many that I can't, not off the top
I
of my
don't
head.
like cauliflower.
I don't like cauliflower.
Try to like cauliflower.
cauliflower. I really don't like
Nope,
zucchini.
I can't.
Yeah. Zucchini's
What
just
the
slimy,
fuck?
and it's not good.
What?
What?
No.
No. You have to eat cauliflower and pair it with a pleasant stimulus. You can't.
Too bad this podcast doesn't have a video
Yeah.
What did you-
capabilities.
Wait, what is? I was looking the other way.
Yeah, we'll let our audience infer what we're talking
I
about.
think that you should do that, because you're the one who doesn't like cauliflower.
Oh, yeah.
Do that. Every time you do that thing, you eat cauliflower.
I'll grow to like it.
Yeah, you grow to like it.
We should actually try and get a camera or something next time. I think
That would be a good
just-
idea. That would be fun. And then we can show the books. We can say, hey, look, it's this book. Could set up a camera right there.
Yeah. But like
You can't control what you feel about things or your beliefs.
what were your thoughts
Oh.
like? No, you go.
Okay, so this is to I said that I want to talk about this.
Oh yeah.
So my friend, they have a strange view, let's just say, of the word belief. So I'll read out the definition that's on Google. So it says, number one is an acceptance that something exists or is true, especially one without proof. So you don't need proof to believe in something.
I think
right?
that's is that Aristotle's distinction, knowledge versus belief?
I'm not
This
sure.
is some Greek philosopher talking about it. Yeah.
And then number two, trust, faith, or confidence in someone or something. So I asked this like when I ask you, Aiden, like, do you believe that this phone exists? And what would you say? Like, just broadly, just like without deep philosophical thinking involved here.
Without bringing up Rene Descartes.
Yeah, without doing all that shit, then does this phone exist? Like, or am I holding this phone or something like that? Like,
Yes, I would say yes. Yeah.
So,
It's not
because you
too much into
believe,
phenomenological ontology here, but,
you believe that is something that is true about the universe, like at least in that point in time.
yeah.
So, but my friend seems to have the belief that they go by a different definition. So, I asked them, using like the Socratic like method, or it's like it's a way of like arguing where you ask questions.
Yeah, it's Socratic method.
Socratic method. Thank
like
you.
to doubt the foundations upon which their arguments stand.
Yeah, something like that. Or like basically question, and that's how you see what they think, I guess. But I asked them, do you believe the world is flat? Oh, sorry, wait, let me start again. Do you believe the world is round, like spherical? And he said, yes. And then I said, do you believe the world is flat? And they said, yes. So they think that the word believe, the way that I guess maybe most people use it, is that you're open to the idea that it's true. So I agree with him in the sense that yes, you should be open-minded to believe in all things, once the evidence like gets shown, or something like that. But they're using it in a completely different way. They're equating it to open-mindedness.
Do they have a definition for it at all,
I don't. I think they did. Yeah, I asked for a definition and they gave it, and then they asked for my definition. So I gave mine off the top of my head and then looked it up and.
Yeah.
Well, where did their definition come from, or did they just make it up?
I don't know, but it sounds
like such a relative.
No one does anyone. Do you either of you think that you can say two contradictory things and say you believe in it? Like you believe that the world is flat, and you can also at the same time say that you believe the world is round.
Not based on the most commonly accepted definition.
Yeah. Well, even without looking at Google, just the way that we use the word.
Yeah. But do they say that everyone's using it wrong and I'm using it right?
They didn't say that. But
that's a good question.
But usually, like, language is a way of communicating, right? And we want to be on the same page about what we mean when we say a word. I'm not going to call, like, I'm holding a glass right now. I'm not going to call this an apple, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I'm drinking from an apple or something like that. Because it's just a way of communicating, and we want to be on the same page of what we mean. So...
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they go by what they like? You should go by the definition that you think that whoever you're talking to will be using. So it seems as if he thinks that everyone around them.
Is this person by any chance a like very progressive?
What? Like they have a progressive.
They are probably progressive leaning, yes.
Leaning, okay, because it just seems like a very, very relativistic definition of belief. Like relativism is the idea that I can say something and you can say something and we're both right because everything's relative.
Right.
It's that thing is sort of screaming relativism to me. Relativism is possibly the central pillar of radical postmodernism.
So then they went into going into another definition, because this first definition here says an acceptance that something exists or is true, especially one without proof. So then they asked for the definition of acceptance, which is the action of consenting to receive or undertake something offered, or number 2, the process or fact of being received as adequate, valid, or suitable. But basically, it's just like they hold they hold a different way of interpreting the definitions that I read out. But it's not. I don't think that the way that they're using it is the way that anyone else, like any normal person, or if you took like a survey, like almost everyone is going to use it. Like, I believe that the world is flat, and I believe that the world is not. Sorry. Wait.
It'd be either or.
Yeah. You can't have two contradictory statements and say I believe for both of them. That's not right. I believe the world is round. By the way, I think I messed up my sentence.
Oh, yeah. But this is the thing. Do they like genuinely believe both, or are they leaning towards one or the like? Do they believe one, but they say I believe both because other people believe it, or
I also
do they genuinely believe that the Earth is both a sphere, or
it's hard to
Schrodinger's Earth.
I don't know. I remember like saying like, oh well, I believe the world is round because of this experiment, and this is evidence to show that if like this is to show that the world, like if the world was flat, then this is what we would experience. So like imagine it was a disc, and if you're in the center of the disc, this is from the YouTube channel Veritasium, science channel. Yeah. I trust it as a source of good scientific information, but you're in the middle of the flat, Earth disc, right? And as you move away from the center, then it's like you're walking up a hill, and a steeper and steeper hill until you reach you tip over the edge, and then you're at like 90 degrees, and it feels like flat ground again. But when we go to the edge of the Earth, then like that's not what's happening.
Yeah.
So,
I think Vsauce said something about that.
I think it might have been Vsauce.
No.
Maybe it's both.
Both.
I think
Do we believe
probably
that it was both simultaneously?
they were probably referencing the same source material. Like, it was a animation, so they probably referenced the same animation.
Right.
All right, and we're back again.
Aiden
has a leaky bladder.
Too much water for my bottle. Yeah. So Morgan's got to go soon, so we're just gonna wrap it up quickly.
Yeah.
Should we continue where we left off, or just do a recap?
I mean, we could continue briefly, and then depends how urgent.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I can't. Their views were a little bit confusing to say the least.
Yeah.
And they also, maybe we can talk about this another time, but not sure how much we can actually delve into it. But basically, another belief that they hold. It's like they actually believe this. So it's like sometimes it feels like they're using the word belief in the way that everyone else uses it. But then in that argument, then they were using it differently.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But they believe that they believe in a combination of free will and determinism, sort of like compatibilism, I guess. But it's like big events, like let's just say, I don't know, going to a cafe, right? It was always going to happen. By the way, they didn't define how large each event is. So that's a flaw in their thinking, because it's very subjective. Is going to a cafe large, or is a world war happening large? Like, that I would say that is. But anyway, like you get to decide. It always will happen that you like go to the cafe, but what shirt you choose to wear, that's your decision. But it is not your decision to go to the cafe. You're always going to go to the cafe. So
that doesn't.
So it's like
that seems a bit. Where do you define those?
The large events versus. Yeah, I know that. I might have pointed that flaw out, but and also may I just say, no evidence was presented. I didn't get anything.
Hitchens razor.
Yeah, Hitchen. Yeah.
Have him on the show. Even the Fed
What,
is
Christopher
already-
Hitchens?
No, your friend.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, Christopher Hitchens.
I mean,
dead.
we could-
Yes, it's gonna be kind of hard. No, we need a Ouija board.
yeah,
And
we
then
do.
we'll call them up from the dead.
Speaks, man.
Yeah. All right. That's about a wrap, I'd say.
Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Yep.
Don't know what we'll talk about next time.
Maybe
possibly
AI.
AI and technology.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah.
And
Be
have a
sure
good week.
to be sure to subscribe.
Yeah, like and
Like,
subscribe.
Like and
Dep-
subscribe.
Smash that bell.
Yeah, smash that like button. Comment down below,
Comment down
depending on which platform you're listening to this on.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for listening.